I don't care about Snapchat or whatever the kids are using, TikTok. I go to YouTube to watch my TikTok.
Hands off that dial. Business is about to get a whole lot nerdier. You're tuned in to FounderQuest.
The struggle is real when it comes to Wi-Fi gear. Because until 2 weeks ago, you could have said, yeah, use Ubiquiti and it's all great. And now there's this, big disruption thing that they're having, this hack that they didn't want to admit to. And
wait, so I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, so the thing that was terrible was that they said, oh, there was a leak at our third-party vendor, right? Well, the third-party vendor is Amazon Web Services. I mean, if you're going to pin the blame on AWS for your, lacking security, that's pretty ridiculous. So there was some whistleblower that came out and said, no, they're really idiots. They're not logging access to their databases. So their press release was like, well, we don't have any evidence of access to your data. And the whistleblower is like, well, they don't have any evidence of access to your data because they don't do any logging to their databases. So they have no idea who's been querying what. It's like, oh, yeah, that's
cool. I mean, that's a good excuse.
Sure. Yeah. So the vagueness plus the, kind of misdirection stuff. And it's just like, okay, my estimation of them just went through the floor.
You never track it. You never know.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. It seems like I don't know. It seems like what you just got to take the hit. Whenever something like that happens, you just got to suck it up and take the hit.
Just like YOLO.
Yeah. Yodo, you only die once.
Well, you have to figure also, my data has probably been breached 5 or 6 different times from 5 or 6 different large companies. So it's like, oh, who even cares anymore? I'll just spray my social security number and my birth date anywhere and just put it on my billboard in my front yard. Have at it,
Yeah, publish it online.
Mm-hmm. The dark web is kind of like a light gray web now. There's just so much data out there. But it's Ubiquiti, or do you buy? I have a small house, so I don't really need these mesh systems which promise this outrageous speed, right, for outrageous amounts of money. So I don't need the Eero or whatever. And then if you don't go with those options, then all that's left really is TP-Link or Netgear. It's well, okay, but fine. It just doesn't seem like there's a really great quality product from a great quality company. I don't know. Maybe I'm just...
The mesh systems are
there was
good.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
There was a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably still just buy the Ubiquiti gear, to be honest, because they're all leaking your data.
So sad.
Who's better?
Yeah, and that's why you use TLS.
For real. Yeah, can you imagine we actually lived at a time when you would just not even use TLS to log into your websites on a Wi-Fi?
I know.
Can you remember those days?
So unsafe.
It's amazing. I had a friend who was all anti-Wi-Fi because this was 20 years ago, because he was all you just take all your secrets and throw them out the window so anybody can get at them. Yeah. It's remarkable to think that we lived that way. Speaking of security, though, I don't know why I was looking at this, but for some reason this morning I looked at Tailscale again. I don't know if you're familiar with Tailscale.
Oh, what's that?
It's a startup. They provide basically a smart kind of VPN. It's like a VPN with some magic sprinkles on top. Basically, they take WireGuard, which is a late generation VPN product. So you might be familiar with stuff like OpenVPN, or even way back in the day, Cisco stuff that was done on hardware. But WireGuard is the latest generation of VPN software, which is actually not crazy to set up. It's actually reasonably easy to use. And then Tailscale took that to the next level with making it super easy to just connect to whatever. So basically you run their little agent and you can VPN into your network without even having to worry about stuff. And they do authentication, for example, through Google login or through Okta or whatever. So you don't have to hop on a box and create keys and send out stuff to people one-on-one and set up all these things. It's basically all just magic.
Oh, yeah.
Happens. So I was playing with that this morning, and it's really quite neat. And I was like, okay, well, I'm on my iPad reading about it, and they're like, well, just install this iOS. I'm like, great. So now I have that VPN thing, and then it gives you IP addresses for all your internal stuff. And it's really cool. I mean, we already have VPN for our stuff, but I thought I was maybe we'll switch.
But this would like we wouldn't even need to pass around those like open VPN files or whatever. Is that the gist of this?
Right.
That
Yep.
That would,
and they have like
nice.
ACLs and stuff. So you can say, oh, well, the marketing person gets access to the internal dashboard, but doesn't get access to SSH to these servers, right? And then, of course, there's audit trails and stuff. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Pretty handy.
On their features, it says magic DNS. And I think we need a little more magic in our lives. So
sure.
I'm going to, but that would be useful even if like you, or I don't know, I can imagine it being useful if you're traveling and you want to like go into your home network even, like that would be pretty nice.
Yeah. I was thinking about replacing my laptop with a Mac Mini and just leaving it in my office and then using Tailscale to hop in if I ever needed to do anything. Like, most of the stuff is like Git and whatever, so I could just do it at home from a different machine. But I was just like, well, maybe there's that one thing that I'm going to have on my machine at work and I don't want to have, at night. And so I was like, oh, Tailscale, put that on there. And yeah, fun toys.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Not related to security, though. I've been spending all week on customer stuff, like sales stuff, marketing stuff.
Oh, how's that been going?
Well, I've been kind of floundering a little bit. Like, it's not my background, right? And so everything is more difficult than it seems like it should be. It seems like there's a lot of friction there. Like, for example, the early part of the week, we had some suggestions from Harris about some changes we can make to the website. And we had
Harris is our sales consultant guru guy. Okay.
And then we had some other suggestions from another good friend of ours that we can make. And so I was looking at the homepage and it's like, man, copywriting is hard, right? It's like getting into that mindset of, okay, what's your customer perspective? Like when they come to this page, like and you have a candidate who is interested, like what do they want to see? And then trying to get in that mindset and then come up with some copy that speaks to that mindset. I know that there's this notion of like, oh, you go get your customer's voice from like reviews and things like that. But sometimes you just gotta create stuff, right? And so I don't know. So I've been doing that, and it's just like it's not a skill that I have worked on developing, and so it feels very painful to try and come up with that. It's like, oh, really? This is like taking a lot of energy and a lot of effort. I really don't want to do this. I'd rather go, plug in some VPN or something.
I think it may have been after a microcomp or after, I don't think it was like Bacon Biz, but maybe even that first Bacon Biz we went to. We were having dinner with Ruben Gomez and talking about our homepage. And he was like, what does your customer want when they come to this homepage? What are they looking for? And I was just like, I don't know. I have no idea. This is so hard.
And it's hard to ask too. Like,
yeah. And people don't even know. People can't tell you. People don't know what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the whole point of that Switch workshop that I did way back several years ago, talking about jobs to be done and getting in the mind of your customer. Why are they showing up today? Why are they checking it out? So I've also been emailing people, like we talked about before, emailing people who are signing up, right? And seeing how they're doing, getting engaged with the product, and like crickets. 0 responses. I think I've gotten 1 response. I sent dozens of emails, each one handcrafted, but 0, like maybe 1 response. And that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah.
Like when you do the work and you don't see any results, that's challenging.
Well, if you think those emails, like we've made a few attempts at like eliciting a response from people that are signing up like that. And if you think about like the number of products that you sign up for, that you get emails from the founders and like the number of them that you respond to, I think people are just overwhelmed with that particular channel or whatever. Like, I think it's in, it's like programmed into your head that like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this. I'm probably going to get like a flood of emails and I'm just going to ignore most of them because they're just, the run of the mill, whatever, onboarding or looking for feedback. Yeah.
We actually had one person cancel recently who was in their trial period. And they said, yeah, you sent me too many emails. That's not why they canceled, but that was part of their message when they left. And I don't
listen to those people.
was like, maybe I should just like turn off all of our automated emails and just send the one from me, right? Try that for a few weeks. And but our emails, we put so much work into them, and those videos are awesome. I don't know.
I think it's pretty well established that emails work pretty well for most people. Like, I think you have like there's like always that vocal few that like just hate emails. And so you're always, that you're going to hear from them much more than you're going to hear from people that like actually read the emails, I think.
I wonder if it would be more successful to use something like a chat widget where it's like they're in the product, you're the only message happening there. They're not, surrounded, like your message isn't buried in like 50 other messages from 50 other companies.
Yeah. Well, we get the responses from like when you sign up the like introductions thing. Like, I was surprised with the number of people that actually filled that out, and it's much higher than the response rate that we get on like, that kind of email that you send, even if it's personal. Like I've never been able to like see a difference between like personally emailing someone versus having an autoresponder. I think everyone just assumes they're automated, like, and personalization is so good these days that I think it's really hard to tell from like the user's perspective, unless the entire email is like literally about them.
I suspect a lot of people use email like I do, which is I just give it a quick scan, and if it's not immediately, applicable to me, or, I just delete it. So
yeah, maybe
it could be a customly written email, but if I'm just like, oh, this is a company I didn't ask for. Okay, this is spam. Just delete.
Yeah, maybe just go get that Ubiquity dump and put their social security number in the subject line or something. Just show them that you care.
Go. There you go. That's awesome.
Like really personalize it. Your date of birth is.
then it would sound like those emails that you get. Like, I saw you on your webcam. Send me Bitcoin, or else I'll send this video out to the world.
Oh, there you go.
Extort. You're saying we should extort responses?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's that's one thing that we've dealt with for a long time, which is just like a lot of the things that people say to do, like we do, and then it's just like you don't hear anything, and it's like, okay, like, is it me? Do you just not like me?
Oh, have you tried bribery though?
No, I haven't.
Bribery might work. Like offer like a $50 or $100 gift card or something to somewhere, and like
a free T-shirt.
Or well, the free T-shirts work. Yeah, I mean, like for our credit card thing, I don't know. Like, my feeling is that you'd want to go a little bit. I don't know. Like, you could try the free T-shirt thing for the email you're talking about, like the feedback thing. But like, if you really want to sit down with someone, like if your goal is to like get them on a Zoom call or something and just like pick their brain, like give them something of real value, because that's valuable. Like, think about what like their time is worth. It should be at least comparable to their time, and probably a little bit more just for the context switching cost. So I can see that being, we're talking about developers here, like,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. So
if you respond to this email, I'll give you a free T-shirt. If you get on a call with me, I'll give you a $50 gift card.
There you go. Have like some tiers.
Choose your reward level.
Yeah.
And then we need to do like an on-site thing once COVID travel is not a problem anymore. And then we could do like the timeshare presentation thing where they come in for like 4 hours, at a resort in Orlando or something. And
oh, so we have a plan that's free with seminar,
right?
To attend our seminar,
right? Exactly.
Okay.
Have you ever done one of those?
No, of course not.
No, but well. I know that's a thing. Like, people totally like, a lot of people like to game. They like to game the system. Yeah.
They we went and stayed at their timeshare in Mexico one time, which was nice. And they had to go to some seminars or some, I don't know, sales presentation, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you either pay in money or you pay in time, and they figure, I could pay in time. That's fine.
Well, a lot of the timeshare places, you can just like stay at them like a hotel. But if you do, they still give you that offer of like, you get $200 gift card, or it's usually a fairly decent offer. But then you got to go spend like an entire morning or more at their sales thing. But I know people that don't own timeshares, but they stay at timeshares, and they will go to those things just to get the prize, and then like they have no intent, like they know what they're doing, and they still go to them.
That's so fun. There's so many different kinds of people in the world, because I would rather stay home.
Yeah, same here. Like there's no amount you could pay me. There's no amount you could pay me to like, sit through one of those.
Yeah. And like the more complicated some sort of like system is for me to like pay for something, the more I think I'm just getting ripped off. Right. It's like, okay, it's a hotel room. It costs like $200. Versus like, well, it costs this much, but if you have 3 friends stay with you, you can activate the 20% bonus round where you get to shoot 3 basketball hoops. And yeah, it's like somebody has like done the stats on this, and I'm going to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, the LTV must be just insane for their customers, to be able to like have X number of employees at the facility for Y amount of hours to, and then whatever else they do for you while you're there, that's a fair amount of money you're putting into that marketing engine. They must.
Timeshares are not cheap.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Yeah. So this week I've been looking a little bit into conversion of free users, which is pretty interesting. At least conversion of basic users, I should say. We've had different free plans over the years. The most recent one is basic. So yeah, like I still need to. I'm gonna do a little video, I think, and sort of go through everything. But the gist of it is, I think we're looking at around, like, if you consider all, so we have this question, right? We want to, possibly alter the free quota, the free error quota, to try and get more people to upgrade, because right now very few people who are on the basic plan actually use the quota number of errors. So it's like, okay, well, how do you decide like what the actual quota is that you want? As part of this discussion, Josh was like, well, like, how do we, like, can we actually see like what our existing conversion rate is among people who go over quota, who are on the basic plan? And that conversion rate is around 30%, at least in the, sample of data I looked at. And if you look at people in North America, it gets up to, I think, around like 55%. Like, it's pretty high.
Not bad.
So, so that's, that's just one more sort of factor to be at play. But I was really gratified to see that, like, okay, like when people need to upgrade, a lot of them do. Like, I think that's a pretty good number. So yeah, and I don't know. It's just fun getting to mess with that stuff. I got to use Jupyter Lab, which is just, I've talked about it before. It's this data science thing. I don't know. It's just fun.
Did you also look at the overall free to paid conversion ratio? I know I did a quick query or two about that, but I was wondering if you dug into that anymore.
Yeah, if you look at, so just to be clear, I basically only looked at accounts created this year and that were created with the basic plan. So there'll be some people who get left out of that. Like if you start with a paid account and then you downgrade to basic, but then you go over quota, like you're not counted in this, because that's just getting too complicated. So with that caveat, the total, like if you just divide total, like people who upgrade from basic divided by total number of basic accounts, that is around 2%, which I think is roughly in line with what we saw before, or what you were seeing.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at North America, it's about double that. And well, then the obvious question is like, okay, well, why is that so low? And it's like, well, one reason is probably that, like, if you look at that same group and say, okay, how many of these people went over their error quota at least once? Well, that's 5%, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So 5% of all basic users ever went over quota. So, the rest of them were just never in a situation where they needed to upgrade.
Yeah, and they're not going to upgrade just out of the generosity of their hearts to start paying us when they don't need to pay us, right?
Who would do that?
2 to 4% is that's in the range of typical freemium conversion ratios, I think, if I'm up on my current stats. That's what I've heard on the internet anyway. So
yeah, I don't know, but it's not, at some point you have to wonder, like, like what's worth it? Because it's a pretty low number of absolute conversions, right?
Yeah, we never had the free plan
10 times
before.
the number of free users. Yeah. If we had like 10 times the number of free signups, then maybe it would be a higher absolute value of users. Just like
we've had that plan in place for about a year now. I was looking at these stats with Harris. Actually, he was walking me through some of that stuff, and happened to look back, and we launched them in March of last year. And I think the key is like with a 2 to 4% conversion ratio, depending on you said North America versus not. I think that's fine if you say, well, the costs aren't that high, both in processing, data storage, et cetera, and also in customer service. Mm-hmm. And for us, that's been the case. Like we don't have an overwhelming, wave of basic customers who are soaking up all of our customer support time. And of course, we have the quotas in place that keep them from, soaking up all of our real hard costs, right? So I'd say overall, it's been good. I think it's successful,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think like as long as it's not costing us much, the way I look at it is like it's just it's a way to spread potentially more word of mouth, increase our word of mouth basically, because the more people, like the more fans of Honey Badger there are in the world, like the better it is for us in the long run. I assume like the more people that are potentially going to mention us to their friends at other companies, or potentially like use us at, when they actually need something for like a real, like a larger project or whatever. Like, I mean, if they're already using Honey Badger or they've been using it for years as a free user, then we might see a return on that in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And, still though, if if you could double the amount of new customers we get from free plan users, like without causing a significant harm, like why not? Mm-hmm. So much of business just seems to be about like making these minor little, improvements that just get you. And what did the people at Turn River call it that you like so much, Ben? Like blocking and tackling, just like these little bitty wins,
right? And they're additive, right? You keep on stacking them, and over time it makes a bigger difference. One of our competitors, the way they try and keep a lid on their freemium support costs is they don't offer support to freemium customers.
Yeah.
Like it's one of their features on their feature grid. It's like email support crossed out if you're on the free plan.
Wow.
Yeah, that seems, I don't know. If you're going to have a customer, even if they're a free customer, I think you should probably acknowledge their presence by answering their support emails. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, it seems reasonable to me. At the same time, it's like, well, these people are signing up for this free service. We're giving them something. And the fact that we have given them something doesn't obligate us to give them the same thing for the rest of their life. It's this weird thing where it's like, you feel reluctant to change anything. But at the same time, it's like you're literally just giving somebody something with the hope that it will make you money in the end. And so it's just kind of, I don't know, I totally get the hesitation to like make changes that people might not think are cool, and we want to be cool and everything. But in the end, it's like, oh no, I signed up for this free service with the understanding that this company was going to try and make money off of me. Oh no, they're trying to make money off of me. I'm offended. Like it's just, I don't know. It just seems like part of the deal, right? It's like we have these plans and we just have to, tweak them, adjust them, try and, increase growth here or there. And like, I don't know, like, I think it may be possible to make free plans a more significant, driver of growth.
Well, that would be cool. I mean,
than it currently is.
I would, if we could double that conversion ratio, I'd be pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got in the thing I'm working on, I've got a table and a chart, so if you're a visual learner, you can use a chart, but if you prefer a table, you got that too.
Wow.
Where it's just like different error quotas, and then sort of projected like increase in number of new accounts, new paid accounts per month. So we can just like, it's just like, I'm just giving y'all a menu to choose from.
Awesome.
I'm just your waitress. I'm just,
I like Jupyter in that like it like inlines the equations, right? And then does it like build like equations like later on in the whatever in the document, like build on previous ones or something? Is that how it works? Or
yeah,
so
yeah.
like you
So they're
change
not
one.
really equations. It's just Python code.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just, imagine you've got an IRB session, and in between the little snippets of, in between the little blocks of code that you have in IRB, you can just add markdown to explain what that is.
Yeah, I like
that.
And then it shows the code like inline. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So if you do a calculation up at the top and you assign it to a variable, it's a global variable. It's still available down at the bottom.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a super advanced way to do like napkin math, which I'm a big fan of always.
Oh, exactly.
But you can could then convert that data into charts and pretty things like you were saying.
I like too that it does it includes the code with the output. I mean, not only because it makes it easier to play around with, but also it's, I don't know. I always, whenever I do analyses like this, I always worry that I'm not it's like I'm just using some secret process over here, and it turns out that had a big problem with it, and nobody's looking through my source file, so they don't know this. They just see the output, which looks fine. But at least this way, it's like there's a little bit of a sanity check. People can say, "Oh, that's actually wrong."
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I had a random thought about the free.
Yeah, what's that?
This random thought was prompted a few weeks ago as I was working on setting up Front. So we recently switched from Help Scout to Front for our customer support and other shared inboxes. And as I was working on setting up Front, for some reason, I was logged into one browser and then logged in again from another browser. I don't remember what I was doing. But as I did so, Front booted me out of my other browser, the first one. So I signed in on browser A, and then I signed in on browser B. And when I signed in on browser B, I got kicked out on browser A. I was like, oh, I guess they're probably, I mean, this might be a security thing, or what's more likely is since they bill on number of users, they're probably detecting if a user tries to share their credentials and use in multiple browsers, then they're going to prevent that, right? That was my thought. So my random thought for free is, I wonder if some people are using basic more than they should by sharing a login, right? Because we do have a limit of number of users on the basic plan. Yeah, so maybe we should be
some people are blushing right now, Ben. Some people, some people know we're onto them.
So I was like, maybe we should have some session fixation and enforcement happening there to check that. But I don't know if it's even worth writing the code to do that. But
yeah,
I think for free users, we should pop up a little live stream video window in the corner that's just us scowling at them. We're just looking at them really harshly.
Yeah, we love our free customers.
Or we can. I know it sounds like we don't hate people. We're just we're just
capitalists.
It's just a matter of should maybe more than 5% of our free users face a choice to upgrade or not? That seems pretty low to me. I don't know.
We can just think of it as we're encouraging them to exercise their capacity as human agents, to exercise their free will.
We already give people three users on our free plan, which is so at this point, maybe they don't need to share logins. I could see back when we had when it was a one user plan, I imagine people were doing that. And if we move back to it, I would say maybe we should think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's all sorts of fun things that we're not going to do because they're just mean. Josh was talking about doing a black and white color scheme. I think we talked about this last show. Make it ugly. This is just us making up ways to annoy free users.
Yeah, no, but I think finding ways to make the paid version cooler is definitely
that's more style.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's how we roll.
Animated mascot.
Yeah.
Speaking of, although this is going to apply to free as well, talk about making the product cooler. By the time this episode drops, we'll have a big feature released, courtesy of Kevin, who spent the last little while working on an upgrade to our Slack integration. So now you'll have the opportunity to, if you're a lover of threads and Slack, then you'll love this change because we're now using threads quite a bit in between Slack and Honeybadger. For example, we'll get an alert and now create a message in Slack. If you reply to that message, then that will be added as a comment to the error in Honeybadger. and back and forth. If you comment in Honey Badger, it'll show up in the Slack thread. So, and also some cool interaction there. So yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah. And Kevin's really looking forward to it because he's kind of tired of working on it. It's been baking for a while.
Big effort.
Yeah. And we've been using it internally for quite a while, and it's great. Even me, as a person who does not love threads in Slack, I still love this feature. I think it's going to be great.
Well, he made it an option for you, right? So that you can turn the threading off if you want to. So
yes,
if you don't like threads, so you're not forced. They're not forced upon you. But I have to admit, like this is a really cool like workflow, like idea use case for Slack that I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen this done anywhere. People might be doing this, but I haven't seen it. And I think it has all the like embedded actions too that you would have in the Honey Badger UI for like managing errors. So like it almost is like, I think like the idea is that it gives you, it's just another like UI alternative to like our web app. So like for people who don't want to use the web application or don't want to spend as much time in their browser, or maybe they just like Slack centric workflows, like this gets you closer to just being able to use Slack as your like interface to Honey Badger, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And we had considered making this a feature that was not available to the free users. Like maybe this could, encourage people to upgrade. But in the end, we thought, well, this is just so cool. Let's just go ahead and give it to everybody. So I don't know if that was the right decision, but that's where we're going so far. I think people like it. Limiting
Slack on the free plan would be potentially that would be interesting though, because like it's such like so many people use it. Like yeah, I'd be tempted to upgrade for something like Slack if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
But we've always taken the approach of like giving those like whatever the ones that everyone use, like Slack and GitHub, basically like those are the ones that we make available, and then
hold back on Jira. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The understanding I'm kind of coming to about free users is that they tend not to upgrade for nice to have things. Maybe this is just users in general. I have a hard time really imagining like that many free users upgrading for a really cool like threaded Slack back and forth type thing. Mm-hmm. But if they needed to access GitHub and Slack and they couldn't do that on a free plan, like that seems pretty like a need to have versus a want to have.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. By the way, like no GitHub and Slack, basically.
It's like, so free plans only get to send messages, to send errors to Atlassian products. It's like the reverse of like a lot of enterprise things. It's like free users can only send things to the enterprise products that nobody wants to use.
I like that. I like that line.
That's like extra evil because the free plan also has like the error limit that would just be like, would like drive you insane if you're like someone who's already using Jira because you're some enterprise sign up. Yep. So like there's no way that you can use the product without upgrading.
Yeah, and like we could do logins. You can't log in with an email address. You have to use like Okta, right?
Oh, there you go.
You have to use an SSO provider to be able to log in.
Since we're thinking outside of the box, I've got a good one. So instead of having an error quota for free users, we can have a number of errors. So it doesn't matter if you send us 100 errors. If your quota is 10,000, you're getting 10,000 error messages.
We'll fill in the gaps.
Yeah, we'll just make ones. We'll make ones up. We'll make some up.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
They all come in at the end of the month. Like we have a window. It's like,
gotta meet your quota. Here they are.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird back and forth because like I love our customers. Like I have every intention of being like cool to them. I want us to be cool and for people to like us. At the same time, it's like, well, it's kind of our job to kind of try and optimize the business and make money. And I don't know. So it's like you don't want to go like full on intercom with it and just steal money out of people's pants when they're in the shower. But at the same time, it's like maybe we can, I don't know, make people happy to let us rifle through their pants and wallet when they're in the shower. I don't know.
At the same time, our kids still got to eat, right?
Oh yeah.
Got to put shoes on the kids' feet. So pony up.
I know. Shoeless and starving.
That's right.
So you've been listening to FounderQuest. Go give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever. If you want to write for us, check out our Write For Us page just go to www.honeybadger.io, go to the blog, look at the Write For Us link, click on it, read through the whole thing, and follow the instructions to a T. And yeah, when you do, a coded message will appear via carrier pigeon on your desk within 2 hours.
That's service.
It is. We really believe in service with a smile.
Will the pigeon be smiling?
I think that's physically impossible, but I think they're always smiling inside.
No doubt.
FounderQuest is a weekly podcast by the founders of Honey Badger. Zero instrumentation, 360-degree coverage of errors, outages, and service degradations for your web apps. If you have a web app, you need it. Available at honeybadger.io. Want more from the founders? Go to FounderQuestPodcast.com. That's one word, where you can access our huge back catalog of episodes. FounderQuest is available on iTunes, Spotify, and other purveyors of fine podcasts. We'll see you next week.